Hi, this is Randy Randall of No Age and host of the podcast Hyphenate with Randy Randall. I want to welcome our newest sponsor of the show, DistroKid. DistroKid helps musicians get their music on all the major streaming platforms, and artists keep 100% of their royalties. Hyphenate listeners get 30% off at distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate. Again, that's distrokid.com/VIP/HYPHENATE. Go get your music streaming everywhere now. Yo, what's happening? This is Randy Randall. Thank you so much for listening to Hyphenate. On today's show, man, I'm super excited. I sat down with recording engineer, producer, all-around sound genius, Toshi Kasai. For those of you that don't know Toshi, he has worked almost exclusively with the Melvins for the last decade or so, or longer than that even. And I guess I shouldn't say exclusively, but I mean, maybe more I should say that Melvins have worked exclusively with him. Because Toshi has worked with a long list of amazing musicians. He's worked with Tool, Matt Cameron from Soundgarden, incredible, on and on and on. The Dale Crover Band, all the kind of ancillary Melvins related projects. Super cool, versatile, very knowledgeable sound wizard. He's even worked with Ruinous's very own Mr. Joe Plummer. He has such an awesome, cool list of heavy, badass bands here. Also worked with past guest Conan Neutron. Toshi was actually the one to suggest that I talk to Conan Neutron. And he's like, you guys seem like you have a similar kind of vibe going on. Some geeky white guys that like to talk to heavy musicians. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds about right. Thank you, Toshi. And he's also my neighbor up here in this neck of the woods. So I randomly met him at a kid's birthday party at a park here not too far from our respective houses. And we didn't know each other at the time, and the kids weren't at the same party, but it was adjoining, kids' birthday parties at the same park. And I knew what he looked like, from seeing him out at shows and different things. And I kind of introduced myself in the parking lot, and it was random, but we've gotten to be friends since then, and just were kind of tripping out. We both lived in this, same strange little neighborhoods. So yeah, I'm really excited. Toshi was down. He came over in person. He's been one of the few in-person ones. For those of you that don't know who Toshi is, or who don't know how we do these things here, a lot of these recordings are done on online. And so I got a way you can talk to people all over the country, all over the world, different times, and we don't have to make a date to meet in person. But for those guests who are close to where I live, it's easy. I just say, come on over, and we can just talk in the garage and nerd out and noodle around on guitars and amps and talk things. I think Toshi even helped me figure out like what kind of mics I needed. I recorded this kind of towards the beginning of the batch of interviews, and he's like, oh yeah, you're using the wrong mics. You got to do this one and that one. I was like, okay. So I couldn't figure out really the in-person one as easy as the online ones. Those just make it so easy. Anyway, super stoked to share this interview with you. Also just really excited how things are going. This has been a lot of fun doing the podcast here going into the holiday season. We have sponsors. We got native-instruments.com. You can go check out the complete 14 package with all kinds of great, insane plugins. They got a bunch of discounts going on. You can use the code RUIN10. That's RUIN10 at checkout. There's also DistroKid. If you go to the link distrokid.com/VIP/hyphenate, then you get 30% off when you publish your songs that you make. So I feel like these ads are good, Hopefully they pertain to things you're interested in. I know they kind of pertain to things I'm interested in, home recording, self-distribution, DIY, music making. Anyway, I appreciate everybody listening. I hope everyone's having a good holiday season. I will be back next week with Aaron Farley to discuss this episode. I'm thinking maybe New Year, maybe try to up the quantity of episodes. If you're enjoying these things, maybe we try to do an interview every week, like every Thursday. Maybe the interview comes out, and then every Monday we do the wrap up, kind of things we think about it, catch up what's going on in our lives. I think it'd be fun. And yeah, overall, I'm just been having fun doing this. I hope you guys are having fun listening to these things. Got some ideas of new theme months and guests to possibly come up with for 2024. This has been a fun kind of half year sort of check in. Started over the summer 2023, moving into 2024. This all feels like some kind of theoretical future logic. I don't know those numbers. Those years don't really sound like real years. It sounds like we should be living in Blade Runner and driving around in floating cars, but we're in garages making podcasts. I can deal with that. I can get down. It sounds like fun. All right. Hope you guys are having fun. Please reach out. Hit me up. hyphenatehalftime@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of the show. Make sure you give yourself a review. Sure. Give me a review too. Give yourself a good review online. I'm a great listener. But yeah, if you want to, whatever you're listening on, if you get an option to leave a review, if you want to subscribe, if you want to tell your friends, those are all fun things that I think help get the word out about this show. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see how next year goes. But before we get to next year, let's get to Toshi's awesome interview right here. Toshi, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thanks for
being on the show.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to sit down and talk with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where do you come from, and how did you get started on this crazy journey? You are, for everybody who doesn't know, I'll start off. You are not only an incredible producer, engineer, record making person, but you also are an artist and musician in your own right as well.
Yes. I'm from Tokyo, and then I moved to LA in '97. And then I went to a school, engineering school, and then that school hooked me up to the few studios to work with. And then that's how I kind of started into this business. So late 97 and 98, I started doing engineer first.
Working here in LA.
Working in here, LA, yeah, Los Angeles, yeah.
Had you started recording bands or projects yourself in Tokyo when you were still there?
No. I was musician in a way, not for a time. It's just play with the bands, friends, just keep writing songs since I was a kid. Okay. So yeah, my passion was music.
Did you come from a musical house? Did your parents play music? Did they have music?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, my sister and brother, they both play organ. That's the Yamaha Electron. That's a big thing. I don't know it's big thing anymore, but when we were younger, that was kind of big thing, and it goes school, and then my dad can play organ. I have no idea his background, and then my mom is always listen music. She's a huge fan of Elvis, and then John Denver, that kind of thing. And then she tried to play the guitars and stuff. So yeah, we're surrounded by the music family for sure. That's
so cool. Now, you saying your siblings played a specific type of organ? Was that was like a fad that happened? You had to play that style organ? Was it a synth 80s thing?
It's
or was it traditional?
Yeah, late 70s, 80s. Electron is I think a trademark of the Yamaha. It's basically organ and then my sister had, I don't know the model number. I can look it up, but I forgot. Sister had a really cool three keys, 3 sets key.
Yeah.
And then the
keyboard stand with 3 keyboards on it.
Yeah, and the switch with the all the Yamaha stuff, green, yellow, red, and white.
No. It's like an input switching.
It's so you can change the sound. Okay. It's not like a Hammond. It's not bar instead of drover. It's a more switch.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a late, I don't know, 60s, early 70s. They started doing that. All the Yamaha synthesizer is like that, and then cool. Electron is kind of big thing back then.
And would these have like the drum machine patterns built into? Like this is the whole thing? And also it was a one-man band kind of idea.
One-man band, yeah. A lot of people in Japan, it's not charged, but at the mall, some people play and that kind of stuff. It's pretty, it was a common thing back then.
That's so cool. Yeah. And they weren't writing their own music; they were just performing sheet music or classic thing, pop, modern. Yeah,
the bunch of people who can just read and then just play. That's kind of like a wedding band kind of thing. Yeah, they did that.
Like a wedding band, like they play at weddings and things. Yeah,
yeah, kind of
background music.
Background, yeah. It's not main thing, but in the shopping mall they did that. So
that's incredible. Yeah. And what was your first sort of creative spark in that environment?
I was into the sports for a long time, and especially in the baseball, and then. I think it's a commercial, TV commercial. That's the one I was introduced, like a T-Rex was used on, on the TV, commercial. Mm-hmm. And then my brother was started getting into foreign music, which means mostly American music and British. And then he started playing, Wait,
I want to hear about the T-Rex commercial. I don't think we got this in America. Do you remember what song it was and what product it was for?
I think that was Metal Glue and Subaru commercial, I think. And I was shocked. I remember. I was like, wow, this is a cool song. And then little later, the commercial, they use some insurance company or something. They use 21st Schizo Man, that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like those songs always inspire me. It's different from Japanese music that, the popular Japanese music. And then I liked Japanese music too, but I was quite shocked. Like the range of the singer. And then also the song structures is quite different, I thought. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, I know there's a long tradition of Japanese-made commercials that are very different than American-made commercials, and people that wouldn't license their music or their the big stars going on commercials.
Yeah.
That's a so that was your first sort of exposure and sort of light bulb moments or early light bulb.
Yeah.
So what did you first pick up? Did you pick up a guitar?
My brother recommended, why don't you play guitar? He gave me a bunch of, cassette, and then
what were some of the bands on the cassettes?
My biggest one was Queen, of course, and then I was shocked. It's like how this guy can sing like this, and how guitar and everything is just like a totally different. Mm-hmm. At the school, elementary school or junior high, and people listen a lot of different stuff, and then we influence, some gymnastic class, a club, after school club. They play like Blondie, Michael Jackson, and that kind of thing. So it's kind of like gradually kind of getting into it. It's like, I didn't know this music, and I started watching some TV show, like the biggest show. One of the biggest show was called the Best Hit USA. That was showing what's current hits, mm-hmm. And then my brother kind of, hey, you want to watch together? I was like, oh, sure, late night,
Was it a form like a MTV?
It's not MTV. No. It's more like they're telling who's number one this week kind of thing. I forgot. It's not Billboard chart. It's something else. It's not Melody Maker. Who was it? I forgot the format was, mm-hmm. but it number one hit, and sometimes the guest, the guy interview the current band back then. So
amazing.
Yeah, and then they introduced, and then cable TV was kind of late in Japan. Didn't happen right away because of the, I'm sure rights and stuff. So way later than U.S. And then, but I think some regular TV, like, we had like a 12 channels or so, and those, one of them started like MTV Headbangers, or that kind of things too. It's kind of, a big memory, but started watching those and then picking up, and then, the first thing was a guitar, and then first song I played was Get It On. So
What guitar was it?
that was Squire Strat.
Okay.
Yeah.
What color?
The black body and then white pickup.
Nice.
Yes, it's just a generic
Yeah.
looking. It's not well made.
That was my first guitar. Also, or one of the first ones. Yeah, the white on white, Jimi Hendrix.
Okay.
The Woodstock style.
Oh, that's cool.
A million of those. I think there must be millions and millions of those guitars out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the legend that there's the good Squires, the made in Mexico bullet Squires, I think. Right?
Oh yeah. Squire.
Some.
Yeah. And then, one of my friend who's a guitar tech, he told me before I moved here, like a year, maybe not a year, like 2-3 months before I moved down here, I went to Ochanomizu. It's a huge music street. It's like a sunset in here. My buddy and I went there, and then I just one telly was so beautiful, and then I didn't have the money, but it's like I have to have it. I have to have it, and then I borrowed the money from my friend, and then I paid off right away, of course. But the Strat was no, I'm sorry, a telly. That was made in Japan, Fender Japan. And then I brought it in U.S. and then started working in the studio, and then met one guy, guitar tech, and then he told me, it's like, hey, is that your telly? It's like, oh yeah, it's a Fender Japan. It's like, no, Fender Japan's great. Just they use cheaper electric and then cheaper hardware. If you change it, it's like Fender US. And then he did. He swapped it for me. I went to music store and I get to pick up and then bridge. Still use it,
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. What color is that?
It's a little almost like a see-through, but white.
Okay.
So it's you can see the wood,
The grain.
Everything. But it's whitish.
Oh.
Yeah. And then it's the other way around. It's a black pickup. So
Stick to the basics.
It's
Black
basic.
and white.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love when you find those deals. You're like, oh wait, these are good.
Yeah.
So you think from the price that it wouldn't be great, but but so much in the feel. Did you play it first? Is that what it was?
Oh yeah, of course.
You played it and you knew that was from there. Yeah. The hands don't lie. The hands don't know how much something costs.
To
like
me,
you can think about it, but if you play the thing and it feels great in your hands, then that does it. That's the quality. That's all you need to know.
The same thing is like if you lift it, you can tell right away.
Yeah.
The guitar, and the same thing with the pedals.
Oh.
If you lift it, you can tell it's good pedal or not. Yeah.
There's something to the weight of it. To the
not empty inside. But it's like it has to be some kind of weight. They should have because of the. How strong they are.
Yeah. Well, I think for the guitar, especially in the cork sniffing, in the higher tone chasing idea, that you want to reverberate. There's a physics to it.
Yeah.
Right. And whatever a certain wood sounds like, when you play metal strings through it, they do certain things. There's just a physical reaction, or is the neck connected to the body? Can you feel the resonance? Not only in the body of the guitar, but in the neck. Do you feel it? There's something about that. I always feel like that's a mark of quality in a guitar.
Yeah.
You can kind of just strum it unplugged, not even electronics, just the piece of wood, the two pieces of wood or one piece, whatever, the neck and the body together.
Yeah.
The strings, you play enough of them, you start to go, okay, this is good. Well, by just picking it up, feeling it. Yeah. But the price can change. You never know. the prices might be. You might pick something up and go, "Oh, this sounds great, feels great," and then you look and like, "Oh, it's not very much."
It doesn't happen much
No.
lately.
Well, I remember the J Mascis Squire Jazz Masters.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they played great.
Yeah.
And they're offering them, I think, for $350 or something,
Oh, wow.
under $4.
Wow.
I don't know. I've played a lot of the even Epiphone, the kind of the other side of the Gibson stuff that just you think, okay, this is under $400, but it plays great.
Yeah, but the Epiphone has a high end stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks Beatles. Yeah.
I know, it's a funny one, right? Yeah, it depends what feels right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got off track though. So getting into music, did you start a band while you were in Japan, or what was your?
I just played it by myself, and then I have a few friends at the junior high who loves those music. I kind of got them into the certain style of the music too, but we kind of clicked and they started playing every weekend. We just jamming, and hey, I learned this song, you want to play this? Yeah, so I did quite a long time with those guys, and then, but it never play shows, just to play in the studio. Yeah.
That's cool. And then were you dressing cool as well? Like, is this the style thing? No, no shows. We didn't even record. Maybe in the cassette a few times. That's about it. And these just covers, or were you writing new songs?
No, that point it just covers. Yeah.
What was there this type of studios that they have now in Japan, where it was a fully furnished backline? And everything's set up. And it's really nice.
I think it's the same. Jazz chorus always there. And sometimes Marshall, not high end Marshall. So they always the studio we found is kind of cool. It's weird. It's a suburb of Tokyo, and then it's a residence area, and there's a basement. That's kind of pain in the ass. You have to go, bring the gear, to the stairs. But otherwise, and they have to close by 10-ish because of the neighbor. So that's only downside. But
but did it have a full backline?
Yeah, they have everything we need. They had the drums, so
the amps.
Yeah.
I was blown away. I think the first time we were in Japan, we had to rehearse for something, or we needed to learn a song for a show, and they just brought us, our hosts brought us to a studio, and it was like fully, everything was there.
Yeah,
I think I'm used to the rehearsal spaces here, like in Los Angeles or in America, where it's just a shitty room, just an empty room, and you got to bring all your own stuff. And,
there's some studios that way. Yeah. There's quite a few, literally. Yeah.
Like here now.
Yeah.
Well, I was growing up paying the $20 an hour for for a practice space in Hollywood.
I didn't grow up here, so I don't know. The situation, but then when it's not spoiled because we have to pay,
of course,
then Japan money back then was super expensive, so
okay. But that's where you would rehearse, and that's where you could.
We pitched in, and we practiced. We the bass guitar, keyboard, and the drums. So we have a four guys. No one didn't want to sing.
So it was all instrumental.
Yeah,
really?
It's kind of just it kind of makes sense. Because we're covering the band. We're way higher range, like Queen stuff.
Oh, yeah,
it's like I can sing that. So.
As a teenage boy, it's in your register.
Yeah, that was too high, but it was a pretty fun time.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And so that led you to want to learn more. Then
the music became part of my life, and then getting into it, around 18. Kind of lost the heat, kind of didn't know what to do. Kind of people try to tell me what to do, and then say, like, what, kind of confused, and then took a few years after that, and then my buddy went to a engineering school in Los Angeles, and then that's it. If I start producing engineer, I can keep making music.
Amazing. And had you visited Los Angeles before moving? Wow.
No.
So just
I've
here.
never been anywhere before that.
What was that cultural shock like?
It took 2 hours to get used to. That's it.
2 hours. That's it. And
That's
then,
it. I didn't feel because of the we drive opposite side.
Oh yeah.
So that's the only thing I have to be careful. But everything they had is pretty close. Something like a Japanese food was hard to find, but I know Japan and United States is influenced each other, so they have a similar thing. And then now, it's I don't think it's a different structure and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Different size for sure, but doesn't feel any difference to me. Especially I speak both, so if you go over there, it feels different because no one speak English. But last time,
I found everybody spoke English.
Last time I was there, the Melvins took me. In 2019. So it's like the restaurant they speak English. It's like wow. It's like they're gonna be comfortable. With me. Because I can translate.
Yeah.
That's why they took me. But it's like, I don't need to be here.
You're out of a job. You have to tell everybody before you go in, hey, I got a job here.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bonus thing too, Buzz.
Of
I've been working with them for a long time. So it's like, hey, you want to go? So,
I want to ask you about the Melvins, but before we get there, I'm just thinking in '97, where did you land or where did you set up in LA? Did you stay near in Valley Village, near all the studios?
Yeah, Valley Village. The dormitory was at the school.
Oh, okay.
Was there, and then that's a mecca of the studio. The something on the body. There's so many studio you wouldn't know. It's like that was a studio.
This hit record was recorded in that warehouse. This hit record was over there in that crappy parking lot.
Yeah, so in North Hollywood Station, it's different, but the time we're there, the school was at right by the North Hollywood, subway station. Then it was a sketchy area when I get there, but still there's so many studios over there. I went to interview tons of them around there.
So right out of school, how many 2 years of school?
It was a 6 months program.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Plus, I have to do interns, so it's like 8 to 10 months.
Amazing. And then you go out with your resumes and your certificate. I graduated from here. Do you need work? Can I sweep the floors?
But I was kind of lucky because one student, what do you call the office guy? He asked me, "Hey Toshi, you speak, pretty okay, English. So there's some people can't, So would you mind to help those people?" And I started teaching. Kind of tutor, and then that became like a substitute teacher sometimes. So, I barely speak English back then, but I did it, and then that kind of made me, made me study more, because I have to teach other people,
right, yeah.
I kind of knew most of them because of that. I played music, so and then I love checking what is what is this knob, what does it mean, kind of thing. Since I was a kid, so it was easier to me to pick up,
the recording engineering side of things,
and then so I started teaching. Teaching at the school sometimes. So the student office, send me a bunch of resume to other studios. So I was kind of lucky. I did so many internship.
Okay.
Yeah, and I found a job right away, right after.
At what studio?
It's called the Hook Studio. Oh, the first at the front page studio, and then a lot of hip hop stuff, and then
tell me about some of the artists and who were some of the early artists or bands you worked with.
I was just a studio guy though. I saw Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, and those guys are always there. And then luckily I worked with the Ventures. That was
the surf rock band, the Ventures. Whoa, Walk Don't Run.
Yeah, the studio, the front page studio. The owner was the live keyboard player for the Ventures, so they got a good connection.
Yeah, wow.
So they record a bunch of stuff, and then Don just passed away, but Don always talk. I mean, not always. During the session, I talked to him quite a bit, and then Bob, who's a bass player, his wife was Japanese lady.
Okay.
So they played so many shows in Japan. They're huge. Like when they go to tour one summer, they play 80 shows in Japan. It was just like
wow.
No other bands do that, but they play small shows and to the big shows.
That's incredible.
They don't care. They just love playing over there.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we talking about that kind of thing, and then so that was one of my first client to work with. Yeah, and then in the same time I was working at the studio called The Hook, which is in North Hollywood. Front page was in the Burbank, and then they moved to Glendale. Like really close to the Americana is there. So I was kind of like back and forth to those two studios.
And you were setting up sessions, you were running cables, you were breaking down mics, you were tape. They used to have a tape op.
Yeah, tape op. Yeah, I did. And the Hook, so the front page already had a few engineers, so I was kind of part time, and then. The Hook, I became chief engineer.
Wow.
Because of that, they're a little smaller studio.
Okay.
It's beautiful, Neve 8068, and then a great microphone collection. No joke. It's like you can name it. Oh, we had that.
Well, and what was the history of that studio? I don't know that. I'm not familiar with that one.
The Hook, the owner is his name is Mike Frenchik, and he wants to be a bass player, studio bass player, but he wrote some idea and then picked up by Lionel Richie. That was Dancing on the Ceiling. So he made some money. And he invested to the studio.
As a co-writer of Dancing on the Ceiling?
Yeah, he's the one who started.
Wow.
Yeah, the mic was started. And then he had a smaller studio in like a Studio City area before, I became an employee. And then he moved to North Hollywood. And then 2-3 years later, I joined the studio. And then it's a little bigger than... the previous studio.
Okay.
And, and then it was it's not a huge studio, but it's
who were some of the clients there that you worked with?
Then I met Tool. 2000, I think 2000. One of my clients. I work with Sepultura, Belinda Carlisle from Go-Go's.
Wow.
She when I was there, she wasn't there, but those are the like audio session, first 2-3 sessions, Sepultura and Belinda Carlisle, and then after a few years, I worked there. I worked with the Tool, Foo Fighters was there, and then Mike Patton was there. So I believe it was Phantomas before Melvins.
Okay,
and then so. Tool guy just to spread the word to
Maynard or Adam?
I think Adam.
Okay.
Adam told everybody, hey, there's a good studio, and then Adam and I became friends because he loves a lot of Japanese movie. So hey, Toshi, you have to come down to my house and then translate it for me. It's like, it is already translated, but he wants to know the background and that
the
kind
context,
of
the cultural sort of situation for where it comes from.
So, he invited me a party and stuff. And then one day, it was kind of big party. I was like, I don't know, Christmas or something. And then Dale and Kevin from Melvins came to me. I met Buzz at the studio for a tool session. So I knew about Buzz, but I didn't talk much, just say hi. But Dale and Kevin saw me and, hey, you're Toshi, right? It's like, yes. I was like, and they said, I know you have a great studio. I was like, I don't have the studio. I work at the studio. I was like, yeah, who cares? We're gonna be there. It's like,
cool. That was enough for them.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I people say stuff, so I didn't believe it. But about eight months. No, it's just almost a year later. Yeah, they showed up, and then that was first time working with the Melvins.
And what record was that for?
Hostile Ambient Takeover.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but you also mentioned Tool and Foo Fighters. Did you record the part of the records, or what were those sessions like at there?
Guitar overdub, mainly a guitar overdub.
Okay.
Guitar overdub, and then some bass overdub, both of them. And I believe for Foo Fighters, that was 101. One by one. One by one. That's the album. That was maybe 2002. So that was after Melvins.
Okay.
Yeah, that was after Melvins. So
amazing. And people are coming to work with you because they know.
The studio.
The studio. Okay.
Studio. Yeah. Because the studio was great microphone. It's great sound. The studio built by Michael Money, which is he's a producer for like a Michael Bolton, those soft rock kind of thing.
Yeah.
He after the earthquake he moved to Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he designed for the massive keyboard. So the control room is huge. The live room and the control room is the same size, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not tracking studio. So most people spend a lot of money for the bigger studio and then try to cut the budget. So it's a little smaller studio. So that's a time for the overdub they want to come. So,
I see. Save money on the session. So now we're just going to put a mic up some cabs and
it's a little less than half price. Those Ocean Way or the Village on those those huge studios
where you want to get the drum sound, where you're looking for the room sound on certain things.
And then they came a smaller studio, and the Hook was known for guitar overdub. It's wooden floor and a great microphone. So it's amazing microphone collections. So
wow, that's great. And but once you said Adam was spreading the word of you as the engineer.
Yeah, they brought an engineer too.
Okay.
Okay. So, but the Melvins they didn't. So I asked, first thing. So who's going to be engineer? And then they said you. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And what was it about working with the Melvins that was different than working with other bands?
Yeah, they are super open minded. They know they like things they don't expect. So hey, how about using this and this? So I brought the pedals. I brought some radio boombox with the radio transmitter and that kind of thing. And they're so excited. And then we had a DX7 studio.
the old keyboard. Yeah, I have one here. Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, we anything. I play some keyboard. So it's like. I play one of Queen's song and they are so excited. It's like, hey, you should play another one song. So we clicked right away.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's so fun. And then from there, what happens next? Where do you go from there? Do you leave that studio or you keep working there? And
so they closed down in 2005.
Okay.
So, but the Melvins came back 2 more times. So Hostile Ambient Takeover, and then next one's Pictures of Roma Empire. And then, but between that, they made small soundtrack for artist, Cameron Jamie. He lives in France, but he made some weird festival kind of thing in Norway. They were like a devil kind of thing, and then on the snow, they shot that, and the music was by Melvins, and also they do those. He did some kind of backyard wrestling kind of thing,
Wow.
and then soundtrack by the Melvins. But they played in the UCLA one time, but so that soundtrack, and then. Hostel Ambiente, Pigs of Roma Empire, and after, in the same time, Jello Melvins.
Oh, right.
So, Jello Melvins, so 2 albums.
And you recorded those ones as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
those are at the Hook.
Okay.
Yeah, with a 2-inch tape. And,
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing. And Dave Stone was in the band at that point, I believe, right?
He
Or
was
did he just do the touring?
touring, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin left right after Jello. So he was touring for Jello Melvin's tour. The
Okay, that's
Dave
what I
was
remember.
playing.
Yeah.
Dave came for Hostel Ambient Takeover too. So I know Dave. And then I met Bob Bruno too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he work on those records?
No, he was just hanging out. He was a good friend of Dave. So
Okay,
yeah, I know him so I know those guys for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So cool. Okay, so when the studio closes down, is that when you open your own studio, or where?
No, I didn't have. So I became an independent, producer engineer. So I use a lot of commercial studio. One of them, two main studios. One is West Beach Recorders. It's in Gower and Hollywood. It's on the Hollywood, and then the little east of the Gower. Somebody took over, and then the studio still exists. And then actually I met them because when Hook closed, they tried to buy the console. So that's why they came to the studio before closed down, and then we met them. Hey, I need a studio. No, I don't have a studio. So is it okay to bring a client? And they gave me a great deal.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and then the other one's called the Entourage, which is in the North Hollywood. It's busy area now.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Magnolia, and then little east of Lancashire.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that studio was closed and then taken by some composer. So it's private studio now, but that Entourage was great studio too. So it's huge, two studios, and then I worked quite a few sessions over there.
Who were some of the sessions? Were those Melvins?
Melvins,
sessions?
yeah, Melvins, and then some smaller bands. Yeah, I did quite a few at the Entourage more because that time people knew about me more. So they, and the MySpace was big. Okay. So a lot of people contacted me.
Tell me about that. How did that work? So they would see your name on the credits of a record?
Yeah.
And then they would find you, just reach out.
One of the biggest one I work with, the Tweak Bard.
Okay,
yeah. They contact me on the MySpace. Their message was, "Hey, I want to record with you." That's it. Like, okay. How? And then we became, I worked with 3 albums. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of the dawning of the social media sort of age.
Yeah, that helped. Of course, the website. I have a website now. Helps, and then some people find me on somehow email and stuff.
Yeah.
So
you're like the A-Team. You exist in the LA underground.
Yeah.
You can find me. You can hire me.
Yeah. I tried to make a business card, and then I realized, they find me anyway. So that's
So you don't find them; they find you, right?
I should find them, but
where do you find musicians that have money?
I know, that's the thing.
It's yeah. So LA's full of musicians, but how many of them have money to make a record?
Yeah. That's
the hard part of it all.
Yeah. Let's not go in a negative way.
But tell me also about your own music too. So as you're doing this, as you moved to LA with this incredible Japanese built Squier Telecaster. What are you performing in bands? Are you recording yourself in between sessions with other bands? Or what is?
Yeah, recording myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when downtime, I got the Pro Tools around 2003. So started writing bunch, it's and then I realized, I don't play drums, and then, I can, record the drums in home. So what should I do? And then I always liked acoustic music. So that's how I kind of started getting into it. And then some songs are, drum programming, sample. The sound I recorded use as a sample, and then but those are never be released or anything. It's kind of half baked. So, I started doing more acoustic stuff, and then Kevin from the Melvins, he kind of recommend to do. He knows. Some people knows. I kind of getting into circuit, electric circuit. So he recommended, why don't you do the circuit bending? I made a pedals too.
I want to hear about those. Yeah.
Yeah, back in actually at the Hook, when the producers showed up and then Pro Tools getting bigger, there's a lot of editing time. They record a bunch and then edit. Edit takes or fixing stuff.
And that's not you. You're not on that side of things.
I did it too.
Okay.
I did it too. Actually, I one of my internship, I got Pro Tools gig in 2000. I think in 2000. The one of the internship. I went to some studio and then as an internship. But it became next day. It became a pay gig as a Pro Tools editor.
Oh wow! So all day long, just editing people's takes, taking on the ums and ahs, the clicks, the pops, the shifting drum sounds, drum hits.
Yeah, the Blow the Hand Gang. You remember that band?
Oh yeah.
You and me, baby. And that one, that song. I don't think they used the one I was editing. Sounds like a re-recorded.
Oh, okay.
So and then it came like a year or 2 years after I worked with.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah, but
the Bloodhound Gang's smash #1 hit. They first tracked it with you, and then who knows?
Yeah, and then my life is gonna be easy. I already got a platinum.
Wow.
That's I thought, but it's nothing. After that,
because
nothing.
Did you get a platinum record for that Bloodhound Gang?
Yeah.
On it?
I was I didn't get the what's the I forgot the credit, but I was not. They didn't want to say edit.
Technical assistance,
computer or something. That was they didn't want to say that. But that was one of my first like a big gig.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then
do you have the record on display at the studio now?
Oh yeah. Okay. And then so I picked up the Pro Tools pretty quick, and then 2003 I got the Pro Tools system at home, Digi 01, and then that kind of made me really inspired, just keep writing, and I got a great Gibson J45,
the acoustic,
yeah, which I found on the Guitar Center right after I moved down here.
Wow.
So 97, that was like $700.
It's still a lot of money at that point.
But I made a lot of money in Japan, and then,
That's cool. There's ways to spend it.
Yeah, spend it. But, I kept the guitar, I still have it, so many recordings. Foo Fighters use it, and then, the Melvins use it so many times. Yeah.
That's amazing. and you're just writing and recording, and then when do you start releasing records? Is that a more recent thing?
Yeah, recent thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I was, put it on the MySpace back then, but it's like, oh, it doesn't go anywhere, and then, I didn't use my name either, and then it's just like just sitting there. And then I became friend. I don't know who introduced me, but I became friend with Carl from Joyful Noise, and then so that was 2003. I started writing, and one of Melvins session, we record a bunch of stuff at the Hook, and then I have a DAT tape, DAT, and one day I was listening, and then Dale's drum take sounds like he's playing the melody on the drums, It's like, and that kind of struck me. It's like, oh, I have an idea, says, why don't I trigger this note to something? What can I trigger? And then, oh yeah, I got a sequencer circuit, Pro One.
Sequential circuit.
Yeah. The Pro One has a gate input, with the step sequencer.
Yeah.
And then I know, some signal, it's gonna the gate signal.
Yep.
And it's gonna trigger the one, note each. So that's how I kind of thinking about maybe audio can do it. So I plugged it, and then it worked. So bass line by the kick drum and record it, and then next one is toms and the snare, more melody.
Wow.
So I add it, and then so that's kind of became the project called the Plan D, and I'm a good friend of Dale, and then Troy Ziegler, who's a badass drummer, and then also badass drummer named Paul Christensen. Those guys, hey, I want to do a project. Would you mind to play drums? So they did quite a few times for me, and then just to get now I had a bigger system. Since the Hook closed, I know I have to do more independent, job. Sometimes they don't have the money, so I have to record at the, rehearsal studio, whatsoever. So, I started collecting a bunch of gear. So I brought my system to rehearsal studio, wherever I can record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how the Melvins, let me use their rehearsal studio.
Okay.
So, 2000, that was like a 2000, I got the idea around 7 or around there, and started recording more on the 2009. So I kept recording. And then, I think 2015 or so, maybe 13, I met the Joyful Noise guys, and it's kind of one day I kind of brought up, hey, I have some project, and then I was like, oh yeah, let's release it.
So it's drummers playing the drum parts, and then you mapping those drum parts to a sequencer that plays like a synth bass or synth melody lines, based on the drums that they trigger.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, so layers and layers, and sometimes key change. Mm-hmm. So I record. So one, let's say, C major scale, whole thing, and then next one is, A minor scale. Right. It's same. Right. But
are you changing the notes? Just you're writing the melody, but they're triggering the timing of it, or how do you associate the pitch to the drum?
So the step sequencer is you can record it and then so each hit it's gonna move to the next step.
Oh, I see.
Bip, 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 the melody line, or the bass line too, but so basically the bass line already made. I programmed it.
You just have them trigger it in their timing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Wow.
So usually people use a gate, so it's a but when a drummer so I thought that was kind of interesting idea, and finally released it. So that was kind of relief. I had an idea for a long time. I kept it, and then I don't know what to do.
You find a home for it.
Yeah. And it's only vinyl for right now. I love to make a CD someday.
Yeah. That's funny. That used to be the other way around. CDs were so cheap and easy to make.
Yeah,
but the vinyl was the hard, expensive thing to make.
It became so to keep asking other drummers, and then some big names showed up, So
it's amazing.
That was kind of cool. The progress I couldn't believe. That's a big advantage of living in LA. Just to, great drummers and around the corner. And I say, hey, some people say no, and some people never got back to me. But who cares? I got enough.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then you mentioned your circuit bending and pedal production. Tell me a little bit about that. It's like adding another layer of your talent of producing, engineering, writing and recording your own music, and then also designing circuits. How did that begin? What was that like?
So the same guitar tech who fixed my telly, Fender Japan telly. His name's Craig Poole. He's an Atlanta guy. He's I worked with him quite a few sessions. He became he became friend, but he has as a guitar tech. Back then, a lot of budgets, so big bands can hire guitar tech, and then so when the people editing, we don't, Craig and I don't do pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
So what should I do? And then we're talking about pedals a lot, and then one day, I fix his pedals. It's like, oh, I can fix that. And then Craig said, hey, Tosh, why don't you make a pedal? And then, oh, wow, I never thinking about that, You can get the schematics online,
Mm-hmm.
That's it, it's not big as not right now, but some people had it. And then I found a few schematics and then print out everything at the studio. And then I kind of know, but it's not detail. So I went to a Radio Shack and get those, beginner's electric book, and then start learning a lot. And then, and I realized what I don't have is a fuzz pedal. I have so many pedals, but somehow I don't have many fuzz pedals. Like, I should make a fuzz, and it's easy too.
Yeah.
So that's how I started making. Yeah, encouraged by the friend guitar tech.
That's so cool. And that eventually leads to the T-Fuzz on Hillbish?
Yeah. T-Fuzz, I had quite a few variation, and then one of them was really popular. It's I gave to friends, some people pay. Mike Patton has 2 of them. Mm-hmm. And then I gave to Jello, and Jello gave to somebody else, and some band in England. It's like, oh, those pedals are great, but it's not, it's handmade, right. And then I'm not, skilled, solder skilled is okay,
You also don't want to be sniffing soldering smoke for 18 hours a day.
No, not really, but but I don't mind to do solder, and then, but it's a meticulous job. So I didn't make it too many, and then sometimes, the recording, it takes a long time. So it's like when you finish recording, you have no energy, so kind of lost heat, and then, I kept it, bunch of stuff. And then Hillfish contacted me in email. That was around 2015 or somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hey, Tosh, I want you to use the amp I made. It's a copy of the Sun lead. And, he knows me. I work with the Melvins.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me, please use for the, session, Melvin session or something, and then let me know what you think. And that's how I introduced to Hillfish. And then Buzz and I started talking about, making pedals. And then Buzz went to Hillfish and then made it. And then, okay, hey, his name's Nathan. Hey, Nate, I have my old pedals I want to make, And then, oh, sure. And I sent a schematic and then prototype. It's not prototype, but audio stuff.
Yeah.
And then, he made it.
That's incredible, because Buzz was doing a line of pedals with him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more like a Melvins merchandise.
Yeah.
It's clever. Yeah.
Yeah. The never-ending well of Melvin's merchandise.
I know.
One of the things that one of the handful of things they took from the great Gene Simmons.
Yeah. Well, Prada.
Yeah. More. Yeah. There's never an end to it.
Yeah.
But so that's so because Buzz was working on pedals, then you said, hey, I have this thing as well. But you were the connecting person to them as well in the beginning.
Yeah. I met them, but in the person they met him first.
Oh, I see.
Because he sent after. I started using it, and he said, "Hey, can I send it to Buzz too?" I was like, "Of course."
Yeah.
And then Buzz liked it. The head. Yeah. And then he started using on the tour. So he got one for free, but he bought another one as a spare backup. And then they became friends because I didn't go to tour. Then when they met.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then. Yeah, I met Nathan in person later, but it was amazing, and he built me other pedals, which is for the Plan D,
Mm-hmm.
the trigger, so audio signal has to be really cranked up, to trigger the gate of the synthesizer, and then I think it's not good for my audio gear. So I asked him, hey, can you make audio to gate converter?
Oh, I see.
So that made my job easier. So, and I have two of those. So the end of the Plan D, I can do two things in the same time. So it's a kick and snare toms,
To happen in time.
Yeah, so the idea was a little more, just the bass line. Listen to the bass line is hard. You know what I mean. So now I can put the bass line and then melody line in the same time. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's amazing. And does he sell those?
No, I don't think so.
Gate audio converter?
No, I don't think so.
Is there a big market for that?
I don't think so.
It's very specific to your project.
Yeah. That's why he doesn't. He's not. He doesn't care. He was nice. Just tried to be nice to me. So,
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's interesting. But yeah, it's a very specific purpose that someone would have to know about.
Yeah, the guy is a genius. He's just like, I can give me 2 weeks. I can make it. Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he studied. He studied at the college. University.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So what's next? What do you have coming up? Where do you?
I'm gonna keep doing the Plan D for sure.
Yeah.
I want to find more drummers. New drummers. It's just addiction. The recording drums is fun. And then
what do you like about recording drums? What is it?
So especially it's a challenge. Everybody has a different style. Some people don't hit hard. Some people too hard. So you have to find it. It's almost like wrestle with so what I can do. So it's that challenging, and then improvement, what I can do every time. It's like, oh, last session, I could do this, and then getting the sound and the rhythm, it's just, I don't know, it's just satisfaction, the feeling was so good. It's really hard to explain.
When it works, when the sound of the drum set comes together and it's what you have in your mind, and you can achieve it. Yeah. What do you have any? What for anybody who's starting to record out there? If someone's listening to this and they want to start recording their own bands or they want to start recording drums,
I would recommend.
Don't do it
because it's really hard. If somebody do it, you can focus on the thing. Yeah. I would hire somebody. Yeah. But the plan D is a little different because I record them so I can focus on sound and their performance, and then after that just a synthesizer, so I don't need to hire anybody.
Right. Well, and you are the professional in the room of recording it, but I just mean, how do you record good drums? Is there a secret to it, or just listen?
What is a good drum though? Right, it's hard to tell because some people like roomy drums, so it all depends, on the music. You should try different thing. I think the worst thing you can do is stick in one idea. Try to record some other band and in my own way. It's just like no, it's not your album. You have to adjust what you have. So
right. So the idea of, do you think? Let me ask it this way: as a producer or engineer, do you find is it beneficial to have a unique sound? Do you think is there a Toshi sound, or is it?
Yeah. Some people like that. Some people, nothing sounds like that. It's like the band like Melvins, do something weird, and then So if you have that kind of open mind, artist, then you can go crazy, But in a way, a lot of people are safe too, So then, if you're an engineer, you have to know how to record that kind of drama. So I don't know. It all depends, But I have my style, I guess, But in the same time, I learned a lot, in those studio days. I just look at other well-known engineers doing stuff,
you could record a Bob Denver album as well as a Melvins album, as well as a Sepultura album, and you could record anything.
Yeah, you need to go certain studio, a certain gear. You have to be flexible, I guess. Yeah. Well, it's
amazing. Well, I want to ask. I ask everybody because I'm we're recording this live in my small garage home studio, and I'm obsessed with gear. I feel like there is something about the tools you use or the toys, however you look at it. What would be 3 things that are crucial for your job, for what you do? If you could only pick 3 pieces of equipment, what would you take with you? We can go to 5 if you want to. We'll start with 3.
Yeah, microphone. Of course.
What kind of microphone?
That's a thing because every microphone has a different thing.
But is there one that you find yourself using on everything? Is there a Swiss Army microphone? If you could only pick one.
Pick one. 414 maybe.
Okay. The AKG 414?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's can use for anything. Yeah.
Cool.
That's I think. Yeah.
Normally put on guitars, kind of in place of an SM57, but you like it on snare or overhead if need be.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody gave me a 414, I would record only 414. I guarantee I can do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
Like one microphone record, or at least a song.
I mean,
each song.
I needed 10 for 14.
Sure. No, I know, but that would be. I wonder that's almost like a flex of an engineer.
I love to do it. It's a challenge.
Each song is recorded with this whole song was only with a 57. This whole song was only 414.
I love to do this. Yeah. I want to do one project that use only 1/4-inch cable too.
Oh, what do you mean? No XLRs? No
XL, yeah.
Only TS.
Yeah,
meaning,
only TS or TLS.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's someday I want to do it.
Okay.
So the microphone is going to be a little cheaper.
Oh, I see.
So
right.
It's going to be challenging.
I like this idea, the quarter-inch record.
Quarter-inch,
yeah. The quarter-inch tape? You can record it?
Do
you take the theory of quarter-inch all the way out?
Yeah, but the tape is expensive, so I don't know. I mean, if you have the time and, the budget.
Yeah. So we're, the 414 is the one microphone, okay. Now what else would you need?
So my side, right?
Yeah,
and then, of course, great mic pre.
Okay. Well, what would that one be? If you had to pick one mic pre.
That's
the Swiss Army mic pre.
That's tough. That's tough. Yeah, mic pre has the EQs, and I always like Neve for sure.
So 1073.
1070.
No.
What's the number? I spent a time with the Hook for a long time, so 8068. That's a console.
Yeah,
I love. That's not class. That's class A B. So, but still, the.
Do they make just the pre's from that? Can you buy a pre from that?
I don't know. I forgot the number. It's like a 33009 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Somehow I love the console.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
But I like API Trident. Those two. So I won't be too picky if it's
but a nice mic pre with an EQ included.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, and then of course compressor. So
okay.
Yeah, it's
what's your compressor? This is our chance to nerd out.
Tough.
Where do we go?
It's tough.
This is gun to your head time. You got to pick something. You got 5 seconds to pick a microphone, a pre, and a compressor.
I like the Summit Audio TLA 50.
Okay.
I have 2 of those. That's just good.
Just a good compressor all around for everything.
All around, yeah. So you can use a vocal, you can use it for bass, it's really nice. So
cool. All right. Well, I think that works. I would imagine people tuning in, if they're familiar with your work and what you do. This is you peel the layer behind the scenes back a little bit, just to I'm sure, right? People must ask questions all the time like this.
Yeah. Some people ask me, I can answer everything. I don't want to be a snubby about it.
No. But at the same time, you see, Jimmy Page has a Les Paul guitar. 1 million people can buy a Les Paul guitar. There's still only one Jimmy Page. The tools never make it's what somebody with a 414 and a Neve preamp and a Summit Audio compressor. They're not going to make the same record that you would make. They're not going to be able to do the same. I would. I know for myself, if I had those things, it would still sound like dog shit, like everything else I make.
Yeah. So
there's an ear and a knowledge to how to use it. Yeah.
I like noise.
Thanks.
I had a few songs. It's pretty good.
Thanks.
It's about ideas. It's not. Yeah, you can pretend to sounds like something, but it to me, anyway, you have to take advantage. Like if you're recording in, garage, make sounds more, cool garage, So, if you're recording at the outside, sounds, make it cool. So it's just every time you hear the sound, kind of reminds you where you are. I think that's to me, that's like a great sound to me. It's like, oh, I remember this sound.
Right.
So.
The way it sounded in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got a vinyl from my friend Bob Hanan, who works for merchandise for Epic. That was album, Blues and Bees, the Melvins album with the big business guys. The album, every time I listen, the sound reminds me because I put some parts I record at their old rehearsal studio, and it's Christmas time, and no one's there, so I leave the door open and then put on the one microphone on the hallway.
Wow.
So I was a vocal and some drums, and then the sound reminds me. Feels like I'm there.
Was that the downtown rehearsals?
Yeah, downtown rehearsal. Yeah. And on the 7th, that's my satisfaction. Feels like I'm there.
That time and place.
Yeah. I don't want to make sounds like somebody else.
Of course, yeah.
If I record, I want to make sounds like you. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to make sounds like a Jimmy Page.
Right. That's the catch-22 of being an engineer. A good engineer is to have character, to have a reason to be hired. I must have you, but also to be transparent enough to let the artist be the focus, and so you don't overshadow. You need to conform your talents and your knowledge to make the artist shine. Right?
That's a difference between an engineer and a producer. Producer has more power to say some stuff. Engineer just listen to what they said, and then just that's why I don't do only engineer anymore, because I have so much idea. When I'm going to spend the time, I want to put my input. I'm spending some my life for somebody else. Mm-hmm. So I just don't want to do. To me, that's not my ego. Right. But that doesn't mean if they don't like that my ideas, I don't need to push them. Okay, do something else.
But you wanted to have your contribution credited to you. I produced this. I hope there was a creative idea I had that brought to it.
Yeah. Life is short. I just want to work for somebody. Just doing. So it's just back then I was just listening. At the studio time. And then the Melvins started working with the Melvins. They gave me more freedom, for sure. There's. If some people said if they work with me, you can hear my sound on those past albums, especially on the Melvins. It's like, oh, now I know the sound. It came from you. So that's
interesting.
That's music to my ear. Yeah.
All right. Last question. Again, these are the tough ones. The tough questions. I'll clear my throat for this. What, in your opinion? And obviously, this is all we can speak about is our own opinions. What's the best sounding record? On the flip side, what's the worst sounding record? Again, just your opinion.
Ooh, that's tough, huh?
Yeah. But you have ears that are probably more refined and more knowledgeable than...
I realized what sound doesn't fit in the music. They kind of try to push their stuff too much. The engineer, producers' idea too much. And then doesn't fit with the music. Okay. Yeah, it's like, ooh, this guitar solo is cool, but it's too roomy. But in the same time, some people use really roomy sound and good music.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on good sound is fit in the music style and then composition. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of there was the first Squeeze record that John Cale is a producer on. I think it's infamously, a bad fit. John Cale producing Squeeze. Bad fit. Producer band. It's like, okay, what is it called? I think it's called Sex or S&M or something. I think John Cale was he was trying to push the boundaries, and I think them as a band, are a very traditional sounding band.
I see.
But that's kind of what you were saying. That's where an example of a bad sounding record is when the producer doesn't.
Doesn't fit. So it's not. Yeah, some people use a bad sound, like a distortion was a mistake. Mm-hmm. But to the right application, it's great. So I think it's application. How the bad sound is. They shouldn't use that sound to this one. So I can think of anything, but a lot of times somebody just give me a CD. It's like, and I listen. Oh, I know why. This can be a big album, and then, this doesn't fit, This is like a different marketing. It's like a, noise band try to do, fancy It's really hard to explain.
Sure,
but,
sure. But what's the best? What's the best sounding? What's an example of one of the best sounding records?
is it's gonna fit the sound and then musical structure and then style fit.
What's a great example of that? What do you think?
Like it's kind of cheesy, but I don't want to say cheesy. I hate the word, but it's cliche, I would say. Like Hendrix stuff is kind of like a grit.
Mm-hmm.
It fits, and
the Electric Ladyland.
Yeah, those and that also. Man, it's tough. Yeah, some of like a 80s, like a drown, it fits, it's like those sound, it's little thinner than, those 70s sound,
mm-hmm.
but it fits. Oh, like a Earth, Wind, Fire,
mm-hmm.
It's not thick, but it's thinner, but it's wider. It's all the
the applications of the
application,
sound.
Application sound. Yeah,
okay.
It's like if you listen with the Moondog, it sounds pretty. Sounds like you put the tape machine right there, but it sounds cool.
Right. For the artist, yeah, it's the right recording style for the artist that you're recording. It's to find those things that will complement the artist and bring something out into that versus the opposite of that not working well. Because
it's really hard to tell what is about sound, like I said, distortion supposed to be about sound, but it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
The singing through the megaphone is cool, but sometimes it doesn't fit.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. No Age had a record called Snares Like a Haircut. And the idea behind the title is that no matter the style of the band, you could always tell when a record was made based on the sound of the haircut, or based on the sound of the snare. It's like, if you look at a picture, maybe everybody's wearing 70s looking clothing, but someone has a mullet. You're like, oh, this was in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
They're dressed, the haircut will give away that decade.
I see.
Because those haircuts are so specific to that decade. Like snare sounds, I think, in records are very specific to a time.
Yeah.
Time and place, I think you can tell,
yeah.
What a snare does. Like, I think an example, an artist like Bruce Springsteen in the 80s, his songs are very 50s. He has this doo-wop kind of style of Americana thing that he's evoking, but you have this giant, gated, reverbed snare, that was the sound of the 80s.
Yeah.
So while he's there singing them, these songs, they're rooted in a 50s kind of nostalgia of America. Ain't that America? Or these, that's different. That's John Cougar Mellencamp. But you know what I mean? Yeah. But this idea, but you get this so it gives away a sound, or vice versa. You're trying to make a Motown kind of record, but if you can't have a piccolo on there. You know what I mean? The snare is so much of the character of the sound.
Yeah, that's also reflected by what kind of gear and what kind of studio style too.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, it's interesting, and then sometimes there's an exception for that.
What do you think? What exception?
Like "Come Together" by Beatles.
Uh-huh.
It sounds not like a '60s at all.
Really? Yeah.
It's beyond the song structure and then the sound. It was so different. It's just like if I believe they said that they recorded it yesterday, but it's like it's not. Sounds too good. I was watching Psycho the other day with my wife, and then
the Alfred Hitchcock film.
Yeah. Anthony Perkins, he doesn't look like a guy from the '60s at all. That movie made in '63.
Yeah,
the haircut and everything. It's like that guy looks like from the '80s.
Yeah,
that's. I think there's an exception for that. So I love to make that exception. By accident every time,
something that stands out, but that doesn't sound like it's a product of the time.
Yeah, timeless, and I thought, the come together is it's song structure too. So it's like so modern. Other 60s band back then. I was not there yet, but I thought it's listening the same time around the same time. It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
So
the Beatles are tricky, right? Because they're such a Rosetta Stone, I think, for so much of popular modern music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's hard to know. It's hard to place them in a context that's outside of the last 50 years, 60 years of influence. That I have no ability to understand the world before the Beatles, because every band I've ever heard my entire life. I was born in the 80s. I've never heard music that was not influenced by the Beatles.
Yeah.
I would have to admit, everything's been there in that regard.
I couldn't stand the sound when I was a kid, and then it grown on me, And,
oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay,
because I grown up in more like 80s clean sound, So, the 70s sound, I experienced a little bit, and then also kind of warmness, I get it, and then late 70s, the funk influence, the sound, everything is dry, everything is right there,
Yeah.
The late 70s sound is so different, and then 80s, they started huge, huge sound, and this is like
well, it's also reflective of the technology of the playback opportunities, the playback option, hi-fi stereos, right?
That too, but
or just stereo in general. You know what I mean? It's not monophonic.
In the same time, recording gear too.
Yeah,
the recording studio, it's so much different. In the 50s, they record in one microphone.
Yeah.
And then, you have to sing into the microphone when and then saxophone, play a two-step front,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You would arrange the mix by who's standing in the room. The mixer's job was to be like, okay, loud stuff in the back of the room, quiet stuff in the front of the room.
Yeah. So, it's all, I think, the sound, it's like a image of the film or the camera,
Yeah.
You can tell by age. Like at one point, late 90s, early 2000, all the color was kind of orangish, and it became kind of greenish. So you can tell by the I totally agree. Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not lawmakers. We're just two guys driving around in a car for too long, and our brains start to melt down, and you come up with these ideas.
Yeah.
But it's a good title.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But so your question was good sound about sound. So it's like, it's you have to fit in right away. I would use, I record a lot of my song idea through the headphones, and then it's most of them is not reasonable, but
like an appropriate representation of the sound coming in. The headphones are always skewed for
for but I didn't have I didn't have money when I was younger, so that's the only way I could record ideas. So, and then some people would like it, but it's all depends how you use it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I think there's a case to be made also for, not bad equipment, but the prosumer, almost to the more consumer side of things, is that's how people are going to hear it.
Yeah.
If you were to mix a whole record down onto, the laptop speakers or bad cheap headphones.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it should sound good on the worst possible scenario. And only get better the better the equipment gets. But if you could make a record sound good, on the worst, opportunity.
I think you have to play with it. You have to have a good time with how you use it. Most stuff, because you don't want to be too snobby about this is a good sound. This is always it's like a science, and then new things come out.
Yeah. Right.
So I can really tell. I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for that. And then I just enjoy the sound. Every time I record something cool, performance, It makes me smile. I think that's a good sound. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I was going for the big, I'm always curious what people have in mind for those types of grand statements.
Yeah, I like Neve, but in the same time, I like, cheap Radio Shack, stuff too. So
it's context. Context is everything.
I always, positive for both,
Yeah.
It's nice to have both world. Yeah.
That makes sense. Awesome. Well, Toshi, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
There he is. How rad was that? I love Toshi. So many great stories, so many epic bands he's worked with. What an amazing, cool, rad journey. If you want to find out more about Tosh, you can go to toshikasai.com. That is TOSHIKASAI.com. And he's got all of his links to his Instagrams, to his websites, to all the stuff. You can email him. You can get in touch with him there. If you at all are a fan of the Melvins, you should hit up Toshi, and your band should record with him. He is taking reservations. How do you say that? Or he will fit you into the schedule if he can. So go find him and make awesome records, and give me a shout out or a thanks in the credits. Do they still do those for records? Do you still get like a thanks area? I guess on physical stuff, but on streaming, maybe there should be like an audio track at the end of streamers that just list all the credits, all the real boring stuff. I miss seeing that stuff. That was always fun. As you're listening to a record, you look through the thing and you get all the credits. I guess albums will still have that. But man, I remember being a kid, like looking through the tape, those long tape covers. You just keep unfolding them and unfolding them and unfolding them. And we'd have all the lyrics printed in like the tiniest type. And then you'd get like a thanks list there or something. It was really fun, and kind of get to see who's related and what's happening in theirs things. Anyway, thanks for listening. I will see you next week on the Halftime. Thanks. Bye.